So I've been wanting to make a video on the season premiere for a while, but for the longest time there hasn't really been anything to say. And then this week happened, so let's talk about it. And just for the record, every single time I sit down to film this video, new information comes out. Like, I sat down and organized all my notes today, and I typed them out the way I wanted to, and I went to print them out. And then Parade was like, wow, you thought. So I guess the biggest thing that kind of started this avalanche was a picture that was released by Entertainment Weekly. It's a picture from the premiere, and it's Gibbs and Ziva in Gibbs' basement, and they're still wearing their clothes from the finale. When this picture first came out, a lot of people were using it to support the theory that Ziva's a ghost because Gibbs was injured and she seemed perfectly fine. One of the reasons I kind of wasn't thinking that from the picture is because she looks like she's trying to like launch in front of him a little bit, and I don't know how well she's going to be able to protect him if she's air. And then as I was thinking of more ways to prove that she was human, an article came out confirming that she is indeed still alive. So there's that, I guess. Another big question I've had since the finale is, how on earth are we going to fit this all in one episode in the premiere? And the answer is we're not. She's in 4 episodes. So, and what's really interesting about that is that 2 of these episodes are like the premiere episodes, and then the other 2 come around the midway point of the season, from what I understand. They said it comes in at like fall, winter, which kind of set off some alarms in my head along the lines of, yikes. Wow, it's gonna be a cliffhanger, huh? Essentially, what the article says is that, yes, the 4 episodes are part of a much longer overarching story, but each segment will have some closure to it. God knows I don't know what that means exactly. I am hoping there is some element of closure between those 2 segments. I'm fine if it, you know, there's like a cliffhangery situation between the 2 episodes, but I am hoping there's at least some fair element of closure between the 2 arcs, mainly so that I'm not having a breakdown. I'm so curious to know what this storyline is, especially now that it's so involved throughout at least the first half of the season. One of the things that I'd been thinking coming out of the finale was that her storyline was gonna somehow be connected to like the whole Canadian drug dealing situation, and it's not. So, good job. Apparently, her return has not only a lot to do with why she went into hiding, but how she got involved with NCIS in the first place, which seems like a lot. If I was through the roof excited for this storyline before, I'm now like on the moon. Hello. So many times in the past when there's been a Ziva arc or a Ziva heavy episode, it has been very like Gibbs forward or Tony forward. Like, I feel like it's been a hot second since it's been Ziva forward, and it sounds like we're getting that now. Hopefully. And also, this raises 1,000,001 questions as to what that reasoning could be. Does it involve Aerie? Does it involve Mossad? Does it involve Dina? Hi, remember Dina? I try not to, but if I was a betting woman, I would imagine it had something to do with Aerie. And revisiting the Aerie stuff, I know we've been back there 1,000,000 times, but something about this feels like there's a really new, interesting element to it, if not multiple really new, interesting elements to it. That deep dive into something that's, again, so deeply rooted into this character and her legacy, like, I'm so fascinated to see what this is about. They've also explicitly stated that both Ziva and Gibbs are in danger. Like, it's not just Gibbs that she's coming to rescue. Yet another picture came out, and it's Ziva and Gibbs, and she's also dirty this time. There's weaponry. I'm wildly unsure of where they are. I did investigate to see if it was Dina's apartment. It's not. It looks like an apartment or maybe an office. Speaking of pictures, yet another picture was released. I think it's Ziva sitting in like a sewer. I don't know if that's quite the correct terminology, but it definitely has sewer vibes. So maybe she's been training with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know. This picture makes me wonder where it falls into the episode chronologically. And just as a whole, I'm curious to see how this episode is set up chronologically and if there is any flashback elements to it. Like, how are we gonna discover what she's been doing for the past 6 years? Besides having a child, you know, that small thing. So as anticipated, more information came out while I was editing. The premiere is entitled Out of the Darkness, which makes sense because apparently she's been living underground. So I guess that means she hasn't been living with Tony and Tali in Paris. Unless we've just gone full-blown Ratatouille and she's just living in the sewers beneath Paris. It also lists Adam as being in this episode, so that makes me think there might be some flashbacks involved. This also makes me really interested in seeing whether or not Tony knows that she's alive. I would imagine that he kind of has a feeling she might be alive. Whether or not he knows that for sure feels very up in the air right now. They also did say something along the lines of it being a very physically and emotionally taxing episode arc for both Gibbs and Ziva. So not only does it sound like we're gonna get those really badass, kick-ass moments, I really am excited to see those more thoughtful, quiet moments as well. God, I'm excited. Let's take a break from the articles and move into the realm of Instagram, which gets particularly interesting. First of all, Wilmer Valderrama is an Instagram fiend. A little bit ago, he posted this Instagram story in Autopsy. It's just him talking, and then a bunch of the other team members are also there, and then he quickly like pans the camera around and you can kind of see a figure in the corner, and a lot of people are wondering if it's Cote. In my wish list of things that I want to see in this premiere, a team meeting in Autopsy is pretty high up, and I think it's the most likely place they'd be able to have a meeting within the NCIS building, because as much as I'd love it, I don't think she can just walk through the front door. I think security might have some questions. But I think Jimmy can be like, hey, why don't you just slide in this body bag, and then he can sneak her in, and then once they're in, she'll just emerge. Meeting commenced. But on the other hand, it's also difficult to tell for sure if that's even a person in the corner, and trying to figure out whether or not it's even a person is not the greatest basis to build theories upon. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed because I would love to see that scene so much. And yes, I think we'd have to wait for the other team members to find out before that happened, but I don't imagine this is something Gibbs could keep a secret for like a super long time. Another thing the article mentioned is that each team member has their own individual reaction and they're all kind of shocked, which leads me to believe that not all reactions are going to be immediately positive, which is fair. I am unfathomably excited to see the team members' reactions, and I really, really hope we get to see them and not just like cut to the next commercial break and it's after they've already found out. Like, I would love to see that genuine reaction from each team member. I still do have a tiny beef. We never got to see the team members find out about Tali, but it's another beef for another day. I cannot wait to see her interact with the other characters. And I'm not just talking about the ones that she's known and has had like an established relationship with. Even like the new ones like Casey and Torres and yes, Bishop. Really want to talk about those letters. Wow. A few days ago, Wilmer Valderrama also posted these 2 pictures, and it's of him and Emily Wickersham and Cote all in the car together, and it looks like maybe they might be filming a scene together. You know, on one hand, they could have been like, hey, Cote, why don't you just come hop in the car for a second? But again, this feels like a scene that could exist once they've established among everyone that she's still alive. There was like a brief second when they released that first picture where I was a little bit worried that a majority of this arc would be spent just with her and Gibbs. But now I'm getting the feeling that she might be interacting with the other team members a lot as well. So those relationships and dynamics and conversations, I'm so fascinated to see. Emily Wickersham posted her own Instagram story that's been getting a little bit of attention. And basically, in this stunning short film, it's Emily and she's talking to people and like joking around on set. And then you hear a laugh in the background, and a lot of people are saying that it sounds like it could be Cody's laugh. Something that seems a little bit off about that is the fact that it seems a little bit late for them to be filming the first 2 episodes and a little bit early for them to be filming like mid-season episodes. Yet it does kind of sound like her laugh, so. On a somewhat unrelated note, someone approached Michael Weatherly on the street and basically was like, "Are you coming back?" And he was like, "I can't answer that." Which again, fair. Which raises the interesting conversation of, will Tony come back? Should Tony come back? Tony, in general. I would love to see Tony, Ziva, Tali elements intertwine throughout the episodes. In fact, I think we kind of need to see that. But I do think, you know, at the head of it all, the focus should be Ziva. While I am absolutely dying to see Tony and Ziva together, I do think this should be a primarily Ziva storyline with many Tony, Tali elements intertwined throughout. God, I can't wait to see her talk about her daughter. I know a lot of people have already said this, but I think the necklace that she's wearing is Tali's birthstone, which makes me want to cry. There are so many Ziva moments that other characters have told from their point of view that I am so excited to hear Ziva finally voice for herself. There's also a Ziva theory that I don't know if it's been as popular more recently, but for a while people were talking about the possibility of Gibbs temporarily leaving and Ziva taking over as the head agent. I'm not necessarily counting on that happening, but then again, I didn't think she'd be a recurring character throughout the season, so what do I know? Just on a Gibbs and Ziva note, I am so excited to see their scenes together, their relationship, their interactions. Again, I feel like that amazing father-daughter bond is just going to be such like a theme throughout. I've seen a lot of people comparing it already to elements of Shalom, which makes me love it even more because I love Shalom, which also has an autopsy meeting scene, so I believe that's all I have to say for now. Again, there was a lot, so something might have gotten lost in the shuffle. If there's anything I missed, feel free to let me know in the comments, and let me know your guys' thoughts and theories on the spoilers we have so far. And I am once again excited and a little bit terrified to see what spoilers they throw at us next. Today, on the way home, on the subway, I was reading the Parade article and I literally got so excited that my eyes started welling up, so that's where we're at.